Hello everyone, it's your casual gamer Meep here, and welcome back to the channel. It's been about a week since the 5th year anniversary event began, and strangely enough this is one of the few times, if only time that I can remember, that the devs have introduced a PTB during an event. This PTB has a lot of bug fixes and updates, and in this video I hope to go over some of the most notable ones, focusing on the Trickster, the perk Strider, character models, keys, and server registration. Diving into the PTB, Trickster has received some noticeable buffs, including his power to Showstopper and Main Event, as well as some of his add-ons have changed as well for balancing reasons. To start off with Showstopper, the Trickster will now only need to hit you with 6 knives before injuring or downing you, whereas compared to the normal current one, it's 7 knives to injure or down you. This basically makes Trickster's add-on Melodious Murder, which has this current effect when used, now base kit more or less. Melodious Murder will now instead be changed akin to a Huntress's deerskin gloves, which allow you to search and reload lockers faster. I always wondered why the Trickster didn't have a reload add-on when he was released, but I'm glad to see he's getting one now. Additionally, his ultra rare add-on, Iridescent Photocard, is also going to be affected by this, because it's also getting a buff as well. Instead of needing to be 1 hit away before injuring a survivor, it will now expose survivors if they're 1 or 2 hits away from their laceration meter filling up, and because the meter now fills up faster with less hits needed, it actually feels like it's going to be worth its value as a ultra rare add-on. To offset the decreased number of knives requirement with this power, the laceration meter will begin to decay quicker, and the decay progress will also be faster as well for balancing reasons. I think this is a nice quality change for both sides in terms of the gameplay interactions. It makes Trickster feel more viable, especially at high ranks and in general. Main Event, his special ability, will now require 30 knife hits up from 20 hits to fill up his power bar, but the window to activate it will be increased to 30 seconds up from 10 seconds. This increased window to activate Main Event is nice as you can hold on to it longer, but it would still be nice if you could activate it when as a killer you see fit. A lot of his add-ons have also been changed to affect Main Event. His add-ons Lucky Break and Waiting for You Watch are going to be changed from decreasing the decay rate when you're out of blades, which wasn't a very useful effect, to now increase the duration of Main Event by a small amount each time you hit a survivor with a blade while using Main Event. This is overall a good change, as I feel their current effects are not useful because if you're out of blades, you're more than likely going to down a survivor with your normal basic M1 attack, rather than break chase to reload at a locker. And additionally, once you reload with it, you lose the effect of the add-ons altogether, so I think this is a welcome change. His other ultra rare add-on, Death Throws Compilation, which currently has an awful effect of increasing the amount of laceration dealt to survivors, it has a massive downside if you miss a single blade. That progress you make building up its laceration value is reset back to a weaker version than what it is without the add-on. Instead, what it's going to do now is once you trigger an end Main Event, the number of blades you had previously is filled back up to your default of 60, or if you're running one of the other add-ons to increase the base amount to that amount as well. This is an okay effect. It can save you some time from reloading at lockers and allow you to continue chasing survivors had you not downed them with Main Event. Overall, it's pretty good. On screen, I have 2 tier lists. The first one is basically what I thought of the Trickster's add-ons up until now, and the second one that I am showing now is going to be where I think his add-ons are now based off if all these changes go live onto live servers. 2 of the Trickster's perks are also being buffed as well. No Way Out with the PTB will give you a loud noise notification whenever a survivor goes to touch an exit gate, at which No Way Out will activate it and block the exit gate switches. Prior to this, it immediately activated and began ticking down the second the exit gates were powered, so this change alone guarantees the perk to activate and be active during a meaningful time. Its values have also been increased from a base 10 seconds, with each token increasing it by 8 seconds, up to a maximum of 42 seconds. It's now going to be a base 12 seconds, and each token is going to increase it by 12 seconds as well, up to 60 seconds max. These are overall very good changes, and if you're able to get all 4 stacks, you'll be able to make the game last at least an additional minute longer, which is very nice overall. Its perk Starstruck is remaining unchanged, even though a lot of people thought it was going to be nerfed. It apparently has decided not to be. X Crowd Control is getting its values buffed at each tier as well, with tier 3 blocking all survivor vaulted windows by 20 seconds, up from 14 seconds, for as long as the hex remains up. Moving on to the next subject, I wanted to talk about the change to Strider. Strider, up until this PTB, had an additive effect, where at tier 3 it increases the injured grunts of pain by survivors by 50% and increases normal breathing by 25%. Think of it like this: whenever you're injured, you make 100% more noise, and with Strider, that extra 50% makes you create 150% more noise when injured. Instead, Strider is changing from additive to multiplicative. The reason this change is noticeable is because of the perk Iron Will. with Strider being additive even with Tier 3 Iron Will, which decreases your grunts of pain by 100%, you would still be making noise because of Strider's extra 50% adding bonus. Now that it's going to be multiplicative, the 0 grunts of pain from Iron Will, 0 times 100 is still going to be 0, so Iron Will now completely counter Strider, which is interesting altogether. This effectively is an indirect buff to Iron Will, and an indirect nerf to the Spirit, whose players tend to use Strider more often, because sound is such an important tracking tool whenever a Spirit is phasing. Additionally, the Strange to Strider also affects certain killer add-ons that increase grunts of pain, including the Nurse's Metal Spoon, the Huntress's Core Stone, and Freddy's Jump Road add-on that will also be multiplicative as a result of this update, and will also be countered by Iron Will as well. With the PTB, a lot of characters are receiving graphical model updates. As a Dwight main, he's one of the characters that's getting an update this patch as well. I'll have him on screen right here. I think the most noticeable one, however, that so many community members have been asking for and waiting to see, is for Quentin Smith. In addition to the character models, the Prestige Bloody Clothing are also being brought up to snuff as being shown. I don't have much to say other than these make the game more aesthetically eye-pleasing and fleshes out the characters more than before and make them actually look like human beings. With the PTB, keys are also receiving a minor nerf as well, as if they're out of charges you will no longer be able to open the hatch with them. I must admit that even I didn't know that you could open a hatch with no charges left. I think this is a pretty fair change, as the key would be the only item that would be meaningful if you're out of charges when compared to the other items. This change also indirectly buffs Franklin's Demise, which also knocks your items out of your hand, but then depletes the charges over time. So I think this is a fair change overall. The last topic I wanted to discuss was 2 server registration issues, which includes killers interrupting survivors with grab animations and the matter of hitting through pallets. Because of server latency with both the killer and survivor's information needed to process near simultaneously for the game to make a decision, that these actions can be frustrating at times. Because there are archive challenges and achievements centered around interrupting survivors with grabs, if a grab is rejected by the server, you'll automatically transition into a swing hit instead, which is better than being stuck in place with your hand out altogether. Additionally, these swings are also going to be recognized by the system as grabs for the purposes of achievements and challenges respectively, which I think is very welcome. With the pallet issue, it's going to be more of a matter of whose information gets to the server first. If the killer goes and swings through the pallet as it's being dropped, they can currently still hit survivors through it, and they'll appear stunned after the fact. The remedy for it is that stun validation is now going to be a thing, and it will reject the killer set if the pallet was initiated prior to the hit. I think this is a healthy change to make interactions more consistent for both sides, but overall, these are some fairly good changes. While there are a lot of bug fixes and miscellaneous changes that are going to be happening with the PTB, I felt like these were the most important that I should present to you, my viewer. And with that being said, I'm Meepless3, and I'll see you next time.